Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at some material today about Tuvalu, and it paints this picture right away of just um, striking natural beauty,
Yeah.
real peace.
Hmm.
You get these phrases like golden shores in morning light and coconut trees dancing bright,
Mm.
and those skies of pink and oceans blue. It sounds, well, almost perfect, you
It
know?
really does. That initial feeling is so strong, isn't it? Like a paradise untouched by hand where life moves slow.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting here is how quickly that calm gets, well, challenged. There's this immediate shift to a core tension.
Uh,
The source says, but the tide is creeping high, almost straight away.
Right, creeping high. And it's not just described as like a passive thing happening. The language feels quite active, almost
Oh,
aggressive.
aggressive, yeah, like an invasion.
Exactly. It says every wave hitting the shore might steal a piece of you once more.
Steal a piece. That's powerful framing. So the sea isn't just changing things naturally, it's actively taking something. And that brings this real sense of urgency with it, this feeling that, time is running out of place.
Time is running out of place.
Yeah,
Wow, as if time itself is tied to the physical land that's disappearing.
precisely. It connects the abstract concept of time to the very concrete loss of ground.
That urgency, it really comes through. There's another line about vanishing nights. That adds another layer, doesn't it?
It does.
Like it's not just the land going, but maybe the routines, the stability, the familiar patterns of life vanishing too.
Yeah, the known world is shrinking. Even as
Uh,
the source mentions the land has this quiet pride, it also says the waters rise from every side. It's surrounded.
So, for you listening, what does all this mean? It means we're exploring this place defined by, yes, incredible beauty, but also facing this very real, very active threat of simply disappearing.
Hmm.
That contrast, that tension, that's really the heart of what we're digging into today.
Absolutely.
And as this material sort of draws towards an end, the focus shifts, doesn't it? It becomes much more about the human side of things.
Yes, the consequences.
Right. What this potential loss actually means. There's this really poignant question asked, will we remember when you're gone?
Mm.
It suggests maybe that the wider world is, well, maybe too busy. A careless world is the phrase used.
Yeah, a careless world that might only understand the real cost, the depth of the loss, after it's already happened. Too late.
That question about remembering,
Mm.
it really ties into our collective awareness, doesn't it? Or maybe our lack of timely action.
It does. And the source brings us to this quite melancholic end. It's almost like a lament, really,
Oh, Matt, yeah.
for something that couldn't be stopped or perhaps wasn't stopped in time. There's talk of singing too late and how we move too slow.
It feels like this sad acceptance of fate, a fate that was visible but maybe not averted.
Exactly. Acknowledging that things are unfolding now.
And that final image,
Yeah.
it's incredibly sad. It's described as a lullaby for endless night.
Hmm.
And it just states, quite simply, and now, dear Tuvalu, you go.
It really captures that sorrow of a place succumbing. It's a deeply sorrowful note to end on, but there is one final thought presented, something that maybe adds a different kind of resonance. It complicates the sadness just a little.
Oh, how so? What's that?
Well, the very last line suggests something interesting, that even as the physical land might disappear under the waves,
Yeah.
its story, its significance might not vanish completely. It says, O Tuvalu, your name will rise, carried in the winds and skies.
Ah, okay. Your name will rise. That's a really interesting twist right at the close.
Isn't it?
So here's something to maybe think about as we wrap up this deep dive. Even if Tuvalu's golden shores, its physical ground, eventually sinks,
Hmm.
could the name itself, could the story it represents somehow transcend that physical loss?
Mm-hmm.
Could Tuvalu's story, its plight, be carried, like the source says, in the winds and skies across the world, maybe becoming a final, lasting act of remembrance? Or perhaps a symbol of significance long after the land itself is gone? Something to consider.